Hello, and welcome to The Discriminating Gamer, the board game review show that demands Billy dolls and other friends of mine. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and take a look at Flotilla from WizKids. In Flotilla from WizKids, 3 to 5 players take on the roles of various great captains after the Earth has experienced some kind of nuclear catastrophe in the 1950s that has left the entire planet covered in water. The game comes with a number of tiles, kind of the starting area location, as well as a guild board and mountains of components. Players start the game with their player board on sink side, which means you're kind of water-oriented. You're also going to get 6 player cards, which reference the fact that that's the side you're on, is sink side. And you're going to go ahead and begin to play those cards one after another, and they're going to allow you to do different things. For instance, you can go out, you can lay tiles, you can send your boats out, travel there, and of course you can kind of scavenge dive, rather, to get kind of resources that you and other players will need during the game. These various cards let you do these things. Now, some of the things you do here is also going to allow you to kind of move rondelles on the guild board. This can allow you to get more cards and do other fun and interesting things. Now, at any time during the game, you can choose to switch from sink side to sky side. Essentially, flip it over, it goes from blue to orange, and suddenly your cards have new orientations, and kind of your objectives are a little bit different. For instance, now, instead of exploiting the resources, you're going to be trading with the resources on a market which is going to fluctuate, and you are going to kind of do research. For instance, when you're diving, you're actually going to roll kind of diving die to see what you're getting. Now you're going to be rolling research die to help you in your research. Now, this game is a victory point salad. Your victory points are kind of these big purple stars, and you're taking a number of them constantly. You're doing different actions that are constantly getting you the points, getting you those stars. Now, at the beginning of the game, you set a number of these stars aside into the supply. You still have some in reserve. And as soon as all of the stars are gone from the supply, then you've got a chance to still earn some. You finish out the round, I believe, and then you draw more from the supply if you gain more, or from the reserve, rather, at that time if you gain more. So once that final round is over, you're going to add up all the different points that you've got, plus you're going to get points, I think, for every 5 gold you've got. You're going to get points if you've placed your seals. Whoever has the most seals on the guild, and the second most, I believe, is going to get points. You're going to add up all the points you've got during the game, and whoever has the most wins Flotilla. That is an extremely bare-bones overview of this game. There is a ton more going on in this game. There's so freaking much going on in this game. I was a little intimidated explaining the rules because there's just so much going on here. For instance, there's toxicity levels. You can get radiation levels. You can get radiated and stuff. So you got to be careful there. And there's penalties there. And there's just, like I say, all these little things. You build these watchtowers, you can build more boats. There's all these little things you're doing throughout the game that are designed to get you those more points. But you're doing it, of course, in roundabout ways. You've got to build engines to get you to those points. This is a heavier Euro game. And as you know, if you've ever seen the show before, these are not really my favorite kinds of games. I was intrigued by this one. I wanted to play this one because I saw there was tile laying. I enjoy tile-laying games, generally speaking. I find them interesting. And this one certainly has a lot of tile-laying, so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to play it and review it. But as I say, it's very, very heavy. For me, I'm sure there are some people out there who won't find it that heavy at all, but for me, I found it very heavy. There's a lot of stuff I like. I like how you can switch from the sink side to the sky side at any time in the game. or you don't have to at all if you don't want to. But I like that option. I like that you can play one game or you can play another way. The game we played, we had some people went to Skyside pretty quickly. Other people stayed Sinkside for the whole game. So it's you can and they're kind of equal paths to victory. It's not really one becomes easier. It's just which way do you want to get there. And it's cool that you have that option. It's cool that you can be on grabbing those resources, or you can be kind of buying and selling them on the market, and you can be kind of engaged in the research aspect of it. I think it's pretty clever and fun the way you have those options, and they have that big option that kind of changes the game and changes how you play. And I think that's a very interesting aspect here. But all told, it's not my cup of tea. It's generally speaking, this is not my cup of tea for several reasons. So when we played, we played a 5-player game, and the game is long. It's a lot longer than it needs to be. We're playing a 5-player game, and the game I think it says it's 90 minutes, a 90-minute, 2-hour game, I think maybe. And we were playing 3 hours, and we were maybe halfway through those victory points in the pool, in the supply that determine when the game ends. And it was still going. And there was some AP, and there were some people that were having some issues with that. But still, it was just long, and it just kind of felt like a slog. 4 of us are pretty experienced gamers. There was one of us there, Emily, who doesn't play a lot of games. And she's not played a lot of games. She's played a lot of games with us lately. But she'd never played a Euro like this before. And she said she didn't like it. And she didn't like it because she says there was no kind of aha moment. There's no I got you moment, aha moment. And those are so much fun. And it's right. She said that. I'm like, she hit the nail on the head. There are no real great gotcha moments. I did have one where I was buying some materials I needed from the market, and it changed the price. And so they went up, and it screwed over Han because Han was trying to get his hands on some of those things. And that kind of pissed him off. And that was really, I think, the only gotcha moment I had in the game. And so I was kind of bummed about that. And again, I'm sure experienced players will find those more. But for me, it just that was few and far between. So it was kind of disappointing. To me, a game like this kind of feels like doing taxes. It seems like it's more work than fun. I personally don't have fun with these kinds of games. Having said that, as I say, I know a lot of people do like these types of games, and one of them is Han. Han actually enjoyed them very much. Now, the rest of the people that played, we were lukewarm to negative on this game. Han actually really got a kick out of it. In fact, Han included it on his top 10 games of 2019. You can see that video that we did a while back. He really liked this one quite a bit, and his position is, there's not every game needs to be a war game, and he loves war games. He's a good war gamer, but his position is there's rooms for these kinds of games, and I certainly agree with it. They're just not necessarily ones I want to play. I think for what Flotilla does, it does well. I think for the kind of game and the kind of genre it is, it certainly has kind of a fun and interesting theme, which I think does come through, which for some Euros it doesn't, and you do get a sense of the theme here, which I really like. But, again, it's just not for me. I'm not going to say it's a bad game. I don't think it's a bad game. I think it's a well-constructed game. I think it's a clever game. And like I say, people like Han will take it and will really enjoy it. For me, it just wasn't that fun. It seemed like it was a bit more work. Recommendation for the discriminating gamer is try it before you buy it. If you like heavier Euros, I think you will. If you're like me, you'll probably want to pass. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. We are The Discriminating Gamer, and perhaps you're smiling now. Smiling through the darkness. But all I had to give was guilt for dreaming.
Please somebody help me on my feet again. And I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band.
Stop it. Stop mugging.